What did I have? 36 below at 7 o'clock this morning. This is one of those days that just keeps on giving. This is cool. Like I really can't even dig my nail in there. I could come and hit this with a sander. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, it is Saturday morning, and I need to get out here and check some waters over. So we are currently at about 19 below, but hey, the sun's out. Barely a cloud in the sky, but we got some frosty cows. I'm gonna go around and do what I did yesterday. Did have the little blue was froze up yesterday. So it would not surprise me if it's froze up again this morning. What did I have? 36 below at 7 o'clock this morning. And then we're going to try and work in the shop today. I mean, we have to work in the shop. Last weekend, we were a little less productive, but that was kind of beyond our powers. We're going to try and work on that door this morning. Obviously, we're not going to be able to really try and paint anything this morning because we got to try and get that shop warmed up. So we got some cutting and welding and fabricating, that kind of stuff. So we can do that this morning, and then hopefully maybe this afternoon we get it warm enough. But all right, so we're back in checking the little blue. Broke all the ice out, scooped it out. It was a little slow starting, but it did open up. Just got to clean out the other side for the cows to get at it. All right, so baby blue wide open. Just like yesterday, the top was wide open. I'm gonna head down to the shop now, and the first thing I do when I walk in is turn on that ready heat. The little thermometer in here says it's 7 degrees in here. There we go. All right, so just a little bit of a recap on where we were last weekend. So I did do the first coat of bed liner down here, and then I did shoot some primer up in here. So those little spots up on top where we had welded through here, and it burned through on the inside. So I'll probably end up cleaning up just above that line and tape it off, and then we'll just shoot this all again. Whether that's with another coat of primer or hit it with actual paint. Not sure yet. I still want to do another coat of the bed liner. We are taking a little bit different approach than we originally thought we were going to with the door. So we're welding on some little extensions on there. That way we don't have to cap these tops. Originally we were going to run the tube from outside to outside. All right, so Dad's running a little late on his noon errands. So I am unsupervised, and I finished welding the bottom of the door here. Some of it not too bad, some of it not great. So Dad did that. I did that one, surprisingly. I did grind this because this one was really bad, but it'll hold. Trust me, it'll hold. I did put a stitch in the middle, and then I did those two. Dad did that one. This one got a little blobby on me. All right, so Dad dropped off a jug of diesel fuel, stopped on his way home. So it's possible we might be able to get this front end at least primed. It is getting pretty warm in here. I mean, this thing heats up pretty darn quick. I had it at about 37, and in 5 minutes it's already at 40. So we're just getting everything taped up.
So I'm just getting everything taped up, or at least starting to get taped. And then when Dad gets in here, we'll see what we do. So we made some progress, but it was an absolute shit show getting there. We hooked up the gun. We didn't realize that this was water soluble paint at first. So when we went to go thin it with the mineral spirits, that obviously didn't work. And then we got water, no big deal. But then the gun did not want to work, the spray gun. And it's the same spray gun that I painted my door with in the fall. And I cleaned it up. I mean, I had that thing nice and cleaned out, all that good stuff. Luckily, I still had another can of, it was just this Ultimate Bond Rustoleum primer stuff. This is the turbo can, so that stuff goes on fast. So we got this all primed. I got all over there, don't worry about that. I don't care about this, honestly. We might scuff some of that up and hit it later. Dad didn't notice, but I came in and caulked that. So that's with that really hard caulk. I just don't want stuff like junk sitting in that little corner. So this face is done, and then I came in and did the second coat in here of the bed liner, and then kind of just tape this off. I don't even care how straight it is. If it's not straight, it's not straight. So progress. We had to get something primed today. That was kind of the need to. Dad was not overly excited that I finished welding, because he's like, my name is on this welding job. And I said, no. I pointed out that I did this one, you did that one. So, hey, if I'm not gonna weld, I can't get better at it. Besides, it's in a spot where nobody's gonna see it anyway, so what's the difference? And I don't want to spend too much time in here because the fumes are heavy. So we're getting out of here, we're going to the farm, we gotta get feeding. It's definitely one of those days that things just aren't going smoothly. It took us like 20 minutes just to start the stupid Mahindra. But I guess that's par for the course for that thing. That heating plug, there is no way that thing does anything. Because it has been plugged in all day yesterday, overnight, all day today, and that thing barely could even start. We had to, we do not do ether in that tractor at all. The Johnnies we will, because we're used to those. Those are tractors that can handle it if it's a really cold start and you need it. But that one, we've never done ether in before until today. I don't know. It just, when you're plugged in for 36 hours, you should start. This is one of those days that just keeps on giving. So I thought this might be a small problem, or potentially could pop up yesterday when I was checking water. You know, so the whole plan was not to water the steers yesterday, water them today. And it worked out perfect until I went to go water them today. Similar issue to what we had last year when there was a really cold snap. Last year or the year before, when we had a really cold snap, is that somewhere between the little blue, which I'm standing next to right here, and then the hydrant, it's frozen. Now this line is at least 5 feet deep. Even if it was 4, I still wouldn't think it would be an issue. Ran a little hot water on the hydrant so it would open easy. Just not trying to stress any parts out. Like the handle or the rod that lifts, that, you know, that's why I ran warm water on it. Rod lifted super easy, no water. Somewhere between the bottom of the hydrant and the little blue water, there's an issue. So we're gonna switch things around. So what we're gonna do is, Factor is in the long pen where you normally is. We're gonna put these guys in the back pen and they can use the little blue, and hopefully by next weekend that thing thaws out. Come on, boys. A little bit dirty, but these guys are still looking pretty good. Come on, bud. Come on. And with there still being a little bit of hay left in their feeders, we're just gonna do one bale, call it good, and fluff up the other feeders. I got a little hay for Factor, But other than that, we're gonna call it a night. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey, good morning. All right, Sunday morning, trying to get something out of a bag. All right, this morning, first thing, Dad and I got a fire going. You can hear the diesel heater going. But we ran to Menards. We got another one of these spray cans or sprayers. Just not really sure what was wrong with his. But we did get primer on the front side of this trailer, which should have dried. I mean, that's dry. That's not like it's frozen or something. But this went on with that turbo can, the Rustoleum Turbo stuff, and that seemed, I mean, it definitely covers really well. This I'm gonna have to wipe down. I mean, we're not painting it, but. Also at Menards, we grabbed some more tape because we did run out of tape. So we got a fresh roll of that. We should not need more than this. And then we got a couple more cans of this primer. Grabbed a regular size can of primer, just regular stuff. For some of those other areas, like I had ground off some spots on the back gate. Some of that stuff, maybe start touching up a little bit of that. And if we need it or not, got another tube of that caulk. This is what we had gotten. This is a Loctite PL Max. All right, so this is exactly the same paint gun that Dad had before. And this project is also an area where we can kind of experiment, play around with things we haven't done a whole lot of. Well, I got this spot here, which it's kind of been mowed and there's a good crack in there. So I've wire wheeled the heck out of it. And we're down in there pretty decent. Again, this just has to be decent and functional. Well, it's already functional. We're gonna make it better. So I'm gonna try out this Extreme Bondo. So this stuff is drillable and tappable. So it definitely has some, and it is metal reinforced. So I'm gonna try it in this spot and we'll let it cure and then maybe we'll prime and paint it up later this week or some other time. Anyways, either way, something needs to be done here. It's just gonna keep getting worse. All right, so I'll show you what I got. So basically just try to fill that in and then I'll come back over and do a light sanding. I really don't care that I don't have this pinstriping. Honestly, might even just paint over the top of it, but we're going for preventing more of this in the next couple of years. Plus, there was a physical crack there. So basically this stuff ends up being kind of like a JB Weld. I mean, that's the consistency it has. Basically just a paste, a real thick paste, and then you add some hardener to it. And you've only got about it says directions say you have a 3 to 4 minute working window. So I'll have to read up on when I can start doing stuff to it. It's probably like 12 to 24 hours. So when they say you got about 3 to 4 minute working time, they're not kidding. It's been about 8 minutes. And this stuff's pretty firm. You can tell it's a little tacky yet, but it is definitely firm. So that's cool. Definitely fun to play around with. I've always wanted to play around with that stuff. We've looked at that stuff in my previous job when I dealt with a lot of cast iron parts. You get a lot of porosity in cast iron, and sometimes it shows up in your machined areas where you kind of need it to be a solid surface. But dealing with an actual like gray cast iron, cast steel is a little bit more forgiving in those areas as far as being a less area for porosity. That steel flows better. So this was one thing that we kind of looked at, this is one of those products that we had kind of looked at as like cast iron repair. All right, so while we're kind of waiting for this outside to kind of dry a little bit, there's a couple light spots Dad wants to hit again. I'm gonna finish priming the inside of the trailer. Shake, rattle, and roll. Not really going over the stuff I already primed, but we're gonna do that with Ohrmundt Bond Rustoleum product, the turbo can. And then we'll hit the outside of this trailer some more. I definitely want to get down on the bottom and kind of shoot up a little bit of an angle to get in that crack. So we're starting to get fumed out of the shop here, but we're gonna go feed and then we'll come back and we'll kind of clean things up. But we got the front painted. Waited long enough that we could put kind of a second light coat on it, but it turned out pretty nice. I did come back here and I did prime up a couple of spots around some of these edges, and then I gotta come back. This I might have to hit at night, so we'll see about that. But the front is painted, thankfully. But yeah, we are getting kind of fumed out here, so we're gonna go feed. We'll come back, we'll kind of clean things up a little bit, and then we'll actually kind of be done for the day, which was kind of the point. Normally we'll take a little bit of a lunch break. Today we're skipping that so that we can watch a little bit of the championship football games. So we'll go feed and we'll be back to clean this up. All right, Mahindra is running. It's a little cold-blooded again today, but we got it started. So I'm gonna go around and check our waters. Baby blue, wide open. I'm not even gonna try the hydrant. Honestly, probably wait till next weekend. It's supposed to get into the 20s. All right, used the pickaxe, kind of cleaned up some of this ice. Had quite a ridge right here, and it was maxing out our chain here. And it does look like by next Friday we're supposed to be up at 20, and then like basically this whole week up a couple degrees every day. And honestly right now it's like 5 above, but that guy right there feels really good on the face. So it might be cold, still a little colder than you'd want it, but I mean, these girls, honestly, a lot of them are just sunning themselves, just kind of standing around, chewing their cud. Nobody's really stressed out. So everybody made it through the last couple days pretty well, I think. So 2 bale day today, and we'll get back on that schedule. So definitely want to check the girls out. I've been still trying to make sure I'm checking everybody out, because we do have a couple of those younger heifers that are in that first AI group that we're about, what, 3 weeks out. So we're getting there. Barb's due in about 7 days, about a week from today. All right, we got a bale for the bull, and for Barb, hopefully in the next day or two. Told Dad it's gonna be a priority for us to get her in the next day or so. But I actually just bit the dust and hit the ground. I took the net wrap off of this bale, and I turned, took one step, took the second step, and my toe hooked on a frozen pile of manure. I almost saved it, almost, but we went down gracefully. Back out in the shop, and we're gonna see if we can maybe get that inside painted quick, clean the guns, and call her a day. And then I do have a rattle can that I can get most of the spots in the back here. And then, ooh, that's pretty flippin' solid. Might be able to sand that and paint over that. Well, I think we're to a point where we can say we're like 85% done out of all the stuff, you know, that we kind of want to do. We still have a little bit to do on the door, but we can pop that off anytime we want. But I did get in, got a nice coat of paint. So we got a nice coat of primer. We got a nice coat of paint on the inside. We got the bed liner on the bottom, and I didn't care if I got overspray. I was actually thinking of just painting over the top, but you know, just left it. So now this is still a little bit tacky, but that's okay. It looks pretty decent, and we're kind of thinking we're not even gonna put that clear coat over the top. And then I did have a spray can of some gloss charcoal gray, and then kind of came back here and hit some of the areas that I kind of just wire wheeled up, you know, some of these, you know, edges where we got metals hitting each other. They had them all caulked, and maybe we'll still come back and hit them with some caulk, but got some fresh paint in there. They're wire wheeled fresh paint. This is cool. Like I really can't even dig my nail in there. I could come and hit this with a sander and then prime over the top of it. But I don't necessarily want to do that quite yet. I want to give it some more time. The other thing that and this was pure experiment. I didn't sand nothing, didn't do anything. I had a little bit left on there. I just took cardboard and kind of held it on the back and then just goobered it on. And it's actually, this is part of the hole right here. And it's not, I'm pushing pretty decent and it's not doing nothing. So we're gonna see how this adheres. And then the plan is, I'm just gonna take a grinding wheel to it, grind it up, just make it smooth, make it presentable, rattle can over it or something. Again, we just want this thing to look decent and not look like a complete rust hole going down the road. That is honestly the biggest and main goal of this whole project. And really, if we want to sell it in a couple of years, you know, even just to get $1,000 out of it, we don't want it to be a complete trash. This is a big step. Is it perfect? Did we do the whole thing? No, that wasn't the goal. The goal was get this steel replaced, hack it off. You guys saw, if you didn't see what this looked like a month ago, go back in the videos, a couple videos, and you'll see, and maybe I'll pin this one at the end of the video, that we had this thing wide open. Basically from the tape down, that was open space. Replace that steel, get it solid, and it was. We used it, brought it back in, wire wheeled it up, cleaned it up, primed it, painted it, and I think in the end it looks pretty decent. We're back to being able to say, hey, we can use the front of the trailer again. We're not scared of that. So we're coming to the end of the video. It is Sunday. We got a huge project done, basically done. And then on Tuesday, we're gonna be able to pull this guy back out of the shop and use it Wednesday morning to haul in a couple more fats because we got customers. All right, so it is Sunday. It is the end of the day, end of the video. I hope you guys liked the video. Please hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Help support the channel. And of course, you got any questions? Please leave them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Help us get to our goal of 4,000 subs. And as always, thanks for coming along.